Hello, Dolphin Nation, and I am sorry it's been a while. Not much going on this time of year though. But we're going to talk about a few things that has happened over the last little bit, uh, which is kind of I'm not a lot of the guys, especially that I watch. Dudley Do Wrong is one of them, and Krantz Corner, but they do a lot more uh, opinionated stuff, which I do opinionated stuff, obviously, but I do it after the fact, not what, not as much what uh, prediction type stuff, but they do great things with numbers and stuff of that way, and I'm more of a hey, once this happens, then we're going to come on here and we're going to talk about it and see how you feel about this signing or that signing. So, as far as being behind, not a lot of stuff has happened. A few notes that I've tried to keep up with, which one, and it's not Dolphin news actually. It's Jets news. So, hello, New York. But of course, the Aaron Rodgers thing. Aaron Rodgers going to be a post June 1st cut for the Jets. And I'm right off the bat, I'm going to say Aaron Glenn, hats off to you, brother. Basically came in and said, hey, we're not putting up with the bull crap and way too much drama. We're moving on. I'm not starting my team like this. And I think it's great. Aaron Glenn, of course, a long-time Jets cornerback, great Jets cornerback, very possible Hall of Famer. And right now, a great defensive coordinator, obviously, with the Lions last year, even though, my gosh, they were a mash unit at the end of the season. And I just think it's a great way to start off, to let your team know, this is who I am. I am a no-nonsense guy, and I'm not going to deal with the BS. So, good luck to Aaron, wherever he ends up, not Miami. Matter of fact, just stay out of Florida, dude. Just stay out of Florida. If you go to Tampa Bay, go to Jacksonville, stay away from Miami, please. Great career, absolutely great career for Aaron Rodgers, but that day he's kind of moved on. There's just too much baggage. You got to really play great to bring that many bags with you to your new workplace. I mean, you've got to be Tom Brady. You've got to be John Elway. You got to really put up some numbers and win some games. And you didn't do it with the Jets. So, hats off to you. I hope whatever you decide to do, you go to your retreat and lights out and all that nice stuff. Awesome. Stay there. We don't need you. But moving on, most of that was to Aaron Glenn. I want to say to Jets fans as well, if you're out there, you're listening, seriously, I think that's a great hire with Aaron Glenn, and I think it's a great job of coming in and basically setting the tone for your coaching staff, your players, and really the fans, to let the fans know, hey, we're not putting up with the BS. So just wanted to say, great job. The only real notes for us was Craig Ackerman, who we ended up signing as our special team, our new special teams coordinator. And my response to that one is pretty much, I mean, it's okay. I mean, he's nothing special. He was special teams coordinator for the Chargers in 2016 for 1 year before he was gone. His longest stint was with the Tennessee Titans, of course, 2018 through 2023. In that time, in 2018, the Titans were the 16th overall in special teams, then 18th, 24th, 19th, and so as you can tell, 16th, 18th, 24th, so they kept getting worse. Then they got up to 19th, and then 14th, before basically the wheels fell off in 2023 for him. They finished 21st, but of course, again, I believe it was against the Colts where they ended up having like 2 punts blocked. Their punter got injured. And I hate to say scapegoat because basically the special teams were at the middle of the pack. So not really a scapegoat. Somebody had to take a fall. It ended up being Ackerman, and now he's a Miami Dolphin. But in comparison, we finished 32nd. 32nd in special teams this past year. There's 32 teams. We were 32nd. So it can't get any worse. That's about the only thing I can say. I mean, it can't get any worse. We were 32nd. You got to go up one way or the other. So Craig Ackerman, new special teams coordinator for the Miami Dolphins. And hey, when you finish 32nd, 24th, 21st looks pretty good. But at least we still got Sanders. Please get rid of Bailey. We need a punter. And Mike McDaniel, please do not keep Bailey because he's a good holder that Sanders likes. Excuse me. I am more than willing to hand over one of my kids to hold the ball for the kicker. Okay? Just we need a punter, not a holder. Okay? We need a punter. So please let Bailey go. Hopefully we can sign a punter in free agency. I've not really seen much I don't think anybody's going to be drafted. So either a free agent, even a rookie free agent at this point. I think it's still better than Bailey. You know, he did have a couple of games where I actually did look, early games this season, where I'm like, okay, hey, maybe I was wrong. He had a couple of nice games with some nice punts. And then the wheels fell off. So, yeah, we got to move on from Bailey. But anyway, again, special teams, Craig Ackerman. As you see me flip my pages, you're not going to see computer work going on here. I'm old school, so, yep, old school notebooks. That's what we're going by. I wanted to go by some dates, though, for us to keep up with. So I'm not that far behind. We're still in February. So March 10th through the 12th is tampering, which is basically when a team can talk to free agents, and you can't really sign them, but you can kind of see where they're at. And if, you know, you can kind of do that old handshake, you know, we can work this out. And there's nothing the other teams can do about it. That's why they call it tampering. Because even though they're not technically free agents until the 12th, teams can talk to them and work out something in advance. So if they're interested, you don't have to worry about other teams. So anyway, that's the 10th through the 12th, basically the 10th and 11th, because the 12th is when free agency starts. We'll probably look at some free agents. Really, unless it's a guard, I really don't want to hear about it. We need inside interior offensive linemen. And unless we just pick up an offensive lineman, a nice guard for this team, and then hopefully still, I'd like to see us draft one Maybe around the third round of the draft would be nice. But if we can pick up, and right now in free agency is as far as what I've seen, unless we're talking offensive line, I don't care. It's just not important. And then of course the draft. You also have the NFL Combine that's running March 30th through April the 2nd. And then, of course, the NFL Draft, April 24th, 25th, 26th. Congratulations to Green Bay, Wisconsin, where the draft will be held this year. Pretty cool. Pretty cool that they're going to get the draft. Other notes that we have is cuts. The Dolphins trying to make it a no-nonsense season. Of course, Greer and McDaniel basically this season they're playing for their lives. They are really, their jobs are on the line. They are on the hot seat. Everybody knows it. They know it. Players know it. Everybody knows it. So some notable cuts already have been Kendall Fuller, the cornerback, tight end Durham Smythe, and running back Raheem Mostert. Not big surprises there. Mostert is the one that bothers me probably a little bit, but not because we needed to move on from Mostert. I love Raheem Mostert, but you got a youth movement going on at the running back position, and we have with Achane, and of course Jalen Wright, who we moved up to draft in the third round last year, and then they didn't even really use him last year, but when he was in there, he did have some spurts, and I still think that's going to be a really good 1-2 punch with Achane and Wright. Kind of wish we would have kept Brooks though. Neither here nor there. Let's move on. So anyway, point being, Mostert, of course, gone. Mostly an age thing. Hopefully he can catch on to a team. He's still fast. He was great at goal line with us. 18 19, I believe, touchdowns. Year before last. So anyway, point being, you can correct me in the comments down below as to how many touchdowns he actually held. I know he broke Clayton's record, so pretty impressive. But it's just a youth movement. Durham Smythe, decent player, showed little spurts here and there. I don't know if he really got a huge opportunity, but doesn't really fit in the system. And Geno Smith just absolutely lit it up that last year. So either way, he's a backup, and we can grab a backup anywhere. The big thing, I think, if for the backup, obviously you want to be able to run routes, you want to be able to catch the ball, but I would like to get somebody more of a blocker, but not bringing them in and out just as an extra blocker. Still, Juno, he can block. Keep him in there, but when we run some double tight end formations, we want to be able to run and pass the ball. So, Durham Smythe, not a big deal. Kendall Fuller, we just signed him this past year, but he did have some injury issues. But then again, when you come to Miami, you pretty much have injury issues. It's been a problem for a while. But he had the concussion incident. But when he was in, he played okay. He done okay, but also nothing special. So moving on from him, and the only thing I can think of in that department, I don't really know free agency wise, a corner that we could pick up to go opposite Jalen Ramsey, who we're going to move on from before too much longer. I don't think we will this year. I think Ramsey will be here this year if he wants to be here this year. Of course, obviously he has the contract, and he would be a post-June 1st cut if we did cut him. to save a little extra money. But in general, we're still going to be we're still going to need a corner, and I'd like to see them bring in some young corners to go for that. And I mean, unless you never know. You've got Cam Smith, who is unproven to me. I've not seen his draft stock be worth it where we picked him. Storm Duck actually did play pretty good when he was in, but he's not a lockdown corner. He's not. He's a good third corner. So we've got to get somebody in as far as that goes. So, but anyway, point being, I've rambled a little bit. Kendall Fuller, Durham Smythe, and Raheem Mostert gone as Miami Dolphins, and that's really it right now of everything that has went on in the last little bit. Now, the one thing we are going to do, I'm going to be doing a video more concerned with the draft, not so much free agency, because it's just not my. When we sign a free agent, I'll come on and let you know what I think of that signing, and I want to hear, your thoughts on it. But I will look into the draft a lot more, which is an interesting draft. We need defensive line help, and this draft is absolutely packed with defensive linemen. We could get a defensive lineman even into the third round and still get a quality defensive tackle. It is very possible. Of course, everything depends on how everything falls. And I'll go over with you just real quick where we're standing as far as the picks. We have the 13th overall pick. Early on, at least thinking about it right now, obviously you think defensive tackle, interior guard, but honestly, you can get a defensive tackle later in the second, maybe even third round. The thing that's interesting to me is going to be safety. Malachi Starks. If he's available at 13, I don't know that he would be, but if he's available at 13, I think you almost have to bite the bullet and take him at safety, and then try to pick up a defensive tackle in the maybe the second round, because which I'm going to go over with you real quick. Obviously, 13th overall pick, as I just said. We have the 16th pick in the second round. If we keep the comp pick, we'll have the 34th pick in the third round. Then you also, which that comp pick, I think there's going to be a little bit of an issue there for our tackle that went to Oakland. I can't think of his name. Anyway, he got hurt. Wow, I went completely blank. Correct me in the comments, and it is like on the tip of my tongue, and it's going to drive me crazy. But anyway, we'll move on. Then we also have we're 14th in the fourth round, 34th in the fourth round as well. That's also a comp pick. That one is going to be for Hunt. That one's pretty much a lock. The third rounder, that one might be an issue because of the injury. Then we have the 12th pick in the fifth round, the 17th pick in the fifth round, which is from Denver for the Chubb trade. And then we have the 8th pick in the 7th round, which I know a lot of you people right now are like, why are we talking about the 7th round? Who cares? We have the 13th pick overall. We have this pick in the third. Nobody wants in the third. We have 3 picks in the 7th round. And you can get quality picks. You can get solid picks. And the one that comes to mind right off the bat, but just mostly because my favorite receiver of all time for the Miami Dolphins was a 7th round pick, Mark Clayton. 7th round pick, and absolutely monster numbers, which I'm still going to do the video. I don't know if people will actually watch it, but I'm going to do the making the case for Mark Clayton. I told you guys I would. I still haven't done it. It's been a little crazy lately, and I'm still going to put that out, even though it's a little irrelevant at this point because you've already got the Hall of Fame that's went through. We already know that he's not going. I'm going to make a case for a few of them, but the big one right now, because I already had everything set up to do the making the case for Mark Clayton, and whether he needs to be there or whether he doesn't. And check that video out, because once I get it done, I'd love to hear you guys' opinion of whether you think he should or should not be in the Hall of Fame. But we're going to talk about some others: Richmond Webb, Bob Kuechenberg, different ones that snubbed a little bit from the Hall, which it's not a perfect science, so that's okay. I get it. But anyway, back to the picks. You got this in the 7th round. We have the 8th pick, which we got from Claypool from Chicago, which was basically a bust, but at least we got something, even if it is a 7th round pick. We got the 15th pick in the 7th round, and then we also have the 34th pick in the 7th round. And due to the fact that there's 32 teams, obviously that is a comp pick. It's the 34th pick. It is not Mr. Irrelevant. Not sure off the top of my head who has Mr. Irrelevant, but I know it is not us. There will be a pick or two after we pick, which is the 34th pick in the 7th round. But that is the picks that we got. And like I said, we're going to go a lot more in detail about the draft once it gets a little closer. I'll probably check out a little bit. I'm not a combine guy, which, as I was telling you guys, the combine coming up, I believe it was the 30th through the 2nd. And I'm not a guy that, I don't care about guys running around in their underwear and how fast they can run and how high they can jump or how many weights they can press. None of that means anything to me. What matters to me is game tape. Just watch game tape, because the big thing, they can measure all that stuff. They can measure your jumping, your strength, your speed. They cannot measure this, the ticker, the heart. And really can't measure whether you can play. I've said it on here a billion times. It is the eye test. Watch the film. You can tell who can play and who cannot play. And I will take somebody that runs a 4.5 and can make spectacular catches and block people over somebody that can run a 4.2, but they can't catch the ball, they can't run a route, they can't block anybody. What's the point? It's still football, okay? I just fall in that line of actually Jerry Glanville. Jerry Glanville, Houston Oilers, Atlanta Falcons. He never went to the combine. He just watched tape. He just watched the footage of the college guys play. And honestly, I think it's great. I mean, you know, like Xavier Worthy last year, who ended up going to Kansas City. Thanks, Buffalo. But, you know, it's impressive to break those records and do those things. But are you going to say he's the best receiver that came out of the draft? I don't know about that. And it's went that way for years. It's impressive to have on your resume that, hey, you're the fastest guy in the combine. But it's got to translate to the field. It's impressive that you can bench press 800 pounds over and over again, but is that going to matter when there's an offensive lineman that gets his hands on you and you might be able to move him? The problem is he's going to move you over here. He's going to move you over here. You know, you might be able to push him, but which direction are you going to be able to push him? Can he control that push? You know, same with an offensive lineman. You might be able to bench press 800 pounds, but can you move that guy when he's coming at you? It's a different world. And either you can play football or you can't play football. And I don't think the combine tells you really if these guys can play football. They can tell you, you know, just because you're fast doesn't make you that type of athlete. And again, can't measure the heart and can't measure the mind. And those are the two most important things in football. Those other things are nice. It's nice to be fast. It's nice to be strong. But give me a billion of those guys that has the heart, and we'll go to the Super Bowl every year. Point being, again, I've got way off base. But the closer it gets to the draft, we will look at the draft a lot more. Again, I will look at the combine in general. If there's any worthy notes, Xavier Worthy, funny. We will make. I'll come on and we'll see how the guys do. But the big thing is I'll go over guys that have stood out on tape and play the game. There's several guys like that, just like the Senior Bowl. You got. I actually made a note of him because he came out of nowhere. Josh Farmer in the Senior Bowl. Nobody's really talking about him as a defensive tackle, but he was playing against the best of the best in the Senior Bowl, and he had a game. And so that's what I'm talking about. Nobody's talking about this kid, but the eye test. When I seen the Senior Bowl, highlights actually of Senior Bowl, I did not watch the Senior Bowl, but I mean, in general, put on some film of the Senior Bowl and watch this kid. Really impressive. And you're not going to really see people talk about him that much. So hopefully it raised his stock. Hopefully he goes to a good team. But it was just one example of my point about the combine. Whether you can play or you cannot play. And that's what I'll be looking into. And we'll go over a lot of the guys that I'll be looking at in the draft. And we'll see what Miami can do. And anyway, that's about it for this video. I think we're all caught up. Just again, need to remember those dates. Tampering, 10th and the 11th. Free agency will start the 12th. Combine, if anybody's interested, is on the 30th. Again, I will be checking out a little bit as far as the news and notes from the combine. People that look pretty good, but I don't think it makes or breaks a football player. And then, of course, your draft, the 24th, the 25th, the 26th in Wisconsin. Congratulations again to Green Bay for getting the draft. And I think I forgot to say, hello, Dolphins, and welcome to Finn's Temporal Focus, affectionately known as TPF. But guys, make good decisions. I hope to see you soon. Fins up.